Looks like everybody's rolling in right now. Welcome back to Live with Jane and Jody on this Tuesday, August 1st. We are excited to have you guys join us today, along with several of our current students that have had to relocate to Arizona at some point on this adventure. So we are excited to hear from them, what that experience has been like. Were there any hiccups in that process? Let's get some great feedback and help you guys prepare for that move that's coming up soon. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jane Voorhees. I am one of the admissions representatives here, working with candidates whose last names are M through Z. That's how you get assigned over to me. But really, my job is to help you guys get ready for a successful interview experience, whatever I can do to help you join this community, have a smooth enrollment process, and just get here to become future naturopathic doctors and change the future of healthcare. Love what I get to do. I'm so happy to be supporting you on this daily basis and learning about you guys. Like, I'm just inspired every day at the new candidates that I meet, your backgrounds, your amazing academic foundations. Like, all of you are truly miracle workers in my eyes. So a little bit about me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. So I get to go enjoy sports and music and entertainment. And I like to have all kinds of fun outside of this environment here. But Monday through Friday, you guys rock my world, and I'm happy to be here. All right, enough about me. Let me let Jody introduce herself.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jody, as a lot of you already know. Like Jane, I work with the beginning of the alphabet, A through L. So that's how you're assigned to me. But ditto everything Jane said. We absolutely love what we do. We love seeing you guys go through this process and being there to help you. And then before you know it, you graduate, you walk down that aisle, you get your diploma, and now you're alumni. How amazing is that? I just attended the alumni reunion a couple weeks ago and got to see so many people that I remember advising when they were in your shoes. So it's very rewarding to Jane and I both. I'm originally from the Midwest, so from South Bend, Indiana. So as far north of Indiana as you can possibly get. I've been out here in Arizona for 21 years. Absolutely love it. Heat or not, it's still my favorite place in the world. I absolutely love the sunshine every day. Um, as far as Sonoran University, I have been with Sonoran. Next Monday will be my 17th year. So I absolutely love what I do, or I wouldn't be here. So making a difference in healthcare, making a difference in all of your lives is so rewarding to all of us. So welcome. I hope you enjoy. We have a good group of students that have offered to give us an hour of their time to talk to you about their move to Arizona. So I think we both think this is very, very important. So I'm going to get right into it. So I usually share a core value with you. And of course, core values are beliefs of our institution. So today I picked We Do the Right Thing. Sonoran University of Health Sciences is working hard to continue to deliver quality education and effective patient care. We also continue striving to be the best naturopathic school out there. So that's my core value for the day.
We do it right. Not only
Yes, we
do we do
do.
the right thing, but we do it right. Like, we definitely give you guys
Yes,
all of
we
our
do.
hearts. So we hope you feel that as well. I
Yep.
love that one, Jody. Good choice for today.
Yeah. Yep.
Very
Yep.
good. All right, everybody. I do want to remind you, I did click record. So we are recording this session. We will later post it on our list of videos for future candidates to review this fun information and stuff. So I just want you to know you're absolutely welcome to turn on your cameras. We really encourage your participation in these conversations. So feel free to certainly use the chat bar, unmute yourself if you want to jump in. We understand the awkwardness of Zoom. That is okay. So please, these sessions are set up for you. Jody and I have created a canned list of questions, things that we think will initiate and get the conversation rolling. But really, we know the questions are in your mind and wondering what to do next or how's it going to look. So definitely jump in when you're ready to ask some questions and join the conversation. All right. So with that, let's get right into it. I want to do an introduction of one of our guests as a current student, Amy Samansky. She's joining us today. think, gosh, I'm trying to remember what quarter you're in right now, but I think you're on the 5-year track. So that's going to be one of those magic 0.5 numbers or something. We'll figure it out here in a moment. So, see, Amy joins us from Northwest Indiana. That sounds like that might have been close to South Bend, huh?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Not far.
Just
It's
outside of Chicago. She got her undergraduate degree from Indiana University and she majored in biology with a minor in psychology and criminal justice. She also has a master's in nutrition and human performance from Logan University. So, once again, I love you guys. Your foundation, your academic foundation is just astounding to me. So, excellent. All right, so here's the trick question. So Amy started with us in October of 2021. So 1 year into the date of COVID, right? October 2021. She is on our 5-year program of study. So we'll probably talk a little bit about 5-year program of study. And her hobbies consist of hiking. If you live in Arizona, you have to be a hiker. And I love that she's a volunteer. So I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that. All right, Miss Amy, anything else you would like to add there? Please say hello.
No, I mean, you pretty much covered it, but yes, as I'm sorry, Jane said, I'm in the 5-year program, so quarter 4 slash quarter 4. So for those of you thinking about the 5-year program, I can answer questions about that. I actually started, so I can also answer questions about that. But yeah, so far so good.
I missed the part.
very
You broke
good.
up a little. You started, say it again. You started.
Hold on, my internet's not good, so can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
That's what we're going to do a lot is repeat each other.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. I was just asking a little bit more about the where you started. If you started October 21, did you
October
switch to the
2021.
5-year track or did you? I see. Okay. You made an adjustment partway through. Neat.
Okay, very good, very good. So as we're waiting on Charlotte, I did email her
Okay.
and, let her know that we started. But anyway, Amy, so how we usually start this is I'm always interested with how students became interested in naturopathic medicine. So let's start there, hear a little bit of your story so we can see where you're coming from. Up your mute. There you go.
Had an interest in healthcare, and I definitely considered going down the MD or DO. So I kind of, shelved that for a later time and decided to get a degree in nutrition, which and you'll see that nutrition is and it's a
Bad internet.
part on a
Losing
larger
you,
scale.
Amy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ask you to back up. Your internet is definitely slow. We lost you a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm at the school. I don't know if my internet's gonna cooperate.
Keep
Okay,
talking.
what did you hear? Okay. Um,
Well,
once
you
I
had
graduated,
mentioned you were interested in MDDO and then you shelved that and went into nutrition.
yeah,
Mhm.
kind of just have to pick something that resonates with you, So I think that's a big reason why a lot of us really resonates with us. So you'll see it's a different kind of community here, I guess. Want to be involved in the people aspect of medicine, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I should say there, but so yeah, I don't know. Do you want to ask me questions, or I don't know what you heard and what you didn't hear?
I know.
I know. That's what's going to be tough.
It's cutting out. It's really bad.
I would think with you at the school, I would think that internet would be so strong, you know.
Right in that corner where she's at in that classroom. I wonder, even if you
Yeah.
just like slid
You're,
over 5
yeah.
feet or something, if that would make a
I don't
difference.
know.
Because
So
it's
is that
close.
where you're
Yeah,
at is
I
in a
don't know.
classroom?
It's not.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm in the classroom. So that,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, well, let's just keep our fingers crossed. No, it's okay. It's all right, not at all. So did you apply to just Sonoran or did you apply to all the ND schools being from the Midwest?
Actually was going to go to another ND school in 2016. So this process was kind of not, I don't want to say it's long, but I had a baby in 2016. So I kind of decided to revisit, at another time. So I did actually go see the school up in Lombard, Illinois. Beautiful school, great campus. But after COVID, my husband and I, like our lives brought us to Arizona. So then that's when I found Sonoran. So then I ended up kind of revisiting the whole naturopathic medicine topic.
Awesome.
So that's how I ended up here. But I actually, was interested in naturopathic medicine since 2016. So it's kind of like a full
Okay.
circle moment, I guess.
Okay. And being that Chicago school, being close to
Indiana.
Indiana,
Mhm.
it was a little bit lesser of a move. So those
Yes.
of us who have packed up and come from Indiana to Arizona, it's
Yes.
it's a big move. It really is.
It was a
Wherever you
big
are
move.
setting is perfect because we can hear you really well.
Right.
Okay.
You
Internet's great.
can't move. All right, Jane, I'm not going to hog all the questions.
No, it's perfect. And I love that you both are from Indiana. So you'll have a little bit of a
Yeah,
relation
Yeah.
in that
yeah.
move. So let's kind of dive right into it, right? You go through the admissions process. You worked with me, right? You get that notice. Hey, you've been admitted. When did you first start looking for a house? When did you first start visiting? Like, tell us a little bit about how that journey started to develop.
So I believe I contacted you around August of 2020 when my husband and I decided to move to Arizona, and that's when I kind of found SCNM, and so we started looking for a house right away because we had certain things that we wanted in a home. So I would suggest looking for a place as soon as possible because there's going to be things that you want, there's going to be things that you don't want, things that, if you find a place that you love that you're willing to compromise on. So I definitely, if you're, in the admissions process, obviously because you're here, so I would start looking for a place right now because once school starts, I mean, it's like literally it just you start and there's no you don't want to be moving the first week of school. I've known a few people that have done that and it's very stressful. So if you can start looking for a place right now, I would do that. That'd be my best advice.
It's awesome
Okay.
advice, even if
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
becoming familiar with neighborhoods. How did you guys
Yes.
know where in the valley? Like you mentioned, your husband, you wanted to purchase a home. Is it right next to the school? Is it a couple of miles away? How did you guys decide where you wanted to be?
So we have a daughter, she's 8, and we didn't want to be in the Tempe Phoenix area, so we moved south. So I'm about 25 miles from the school. So it takes me about 30 to 40 minutes, just depending on the traffic. I know there are a
Okay.
lot of people in the program with kids who are married, that chose to move away from the Tempe Phoenix area. But if you, want to live in the Tempe Phoenix area, it's a great area. I mean, there's a ton of housing and great, nightlife and social areas. So, but for us, we wanted to move away from the city. But it's
Okay.
still manageable
Okay.
for me, it's doable.
Interesting. So is it like in the Maricopa area then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Very nice area. Very nice area.
Yes.
But like you said, it can be a drive
Mm-hmm.
depending on traffic,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yes.
So how soon from the time you and your husband found a home, when did you decide to pack up and get your moving truck ready and be out here? How far in advance before school started?
So I was here 6 months before school started.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, my husband came in April. I came in May with my daughter. So yeah, we came 6 months. So I just wanted to give myself plenty of time. I wanted to make sure that we found her school, found a good neighborhood, got acclimated with the neighborhood, everything just not in Maricopa, but everything around the school. So yeah, we were here 6 months, so a while. I know some
Okay.
people come
Okay.
maybe a month or two before. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess it just
Mm-hmm.
depends on your financial situation, how you
Right.
want to do that.
Right.
But the
Right.
earlier the better. And then I know, Jody and Jane, they usually start that Facebook page. So then you can start meeting
Mm-hmm.
people. super early and getting together and kind of exploring together. So,
Right,
I guess it's
right.
just a personal choice.
Right. And 6 months is usually more than what
Mhm.
we normally see. Usually, like you said, about a month or two. I believe students are slowly starting to come into the valley now.
Mhm.
But I always say, come out, get used to, get acclimated, find out where your grocery store is or your coffee shop or, your Trader Joe's or what have you. I mean, I think Arizona or the Tempe area is pretty easy to maneuver
It
coming
is.
from, small city in Indiana. It was
Yeah.
it was easier to maneuver than I thought it would be. So yeah,
Yes,
but
I agree.
at least a couple months, a month at least to get out here. But yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
awesome, awesome, awesome. All
I
right,
think
we
this
have
is
a
a
couple
great perspective to share because coming with family, a lot of our students have children and need to find those schools and stuff. So I think that's excellent
Yes.
advice is remember that you're
Mhm,
setting them up as well in a whole new environment.
mhm,
So
Mhm.
that's perfect,
mhm.
Amy. Go ahead, Jody.
No, let's see. I thought I had one. I saw that. Let's see. Let's see. Do you have recommendations for which areas to look in? So did you look in not just Maricopa? Did you look? I mean, because there's a lot of different cities in the valley. So did you look in
Yeah, I
multiple
mean,
places close to
Chandler,
the
we
school?
looked, yes, we looked in so many places. I mean, Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, Levine, Queen
Okay.
Creek,
Uh-huh.
we
Okay.
drove everywhere just to find the best place for us. But I would say, if you're coming by yourself, Chandler's a great option because it's not too far.
Mhm,
Phoenix is huge, but Phoenix is still has a lot of great places to live and you're not too far from the school. Don't be,
mhm,
afraid to be 10, 15 minutes away from the school because that's going to open up so many more, residential places for you. I mean,
mhm.
as long as you can get here on time, because now that COVID, is, I don't want to say, COVID is kind of past us. Most of the classes are in person. So, as long as you can be responsible and get here on time, kind of widen your search. But Tempe's a great place, but there's so many great places. Chandler's great. Mesa, there's a lot of nice places in Mesa too. So
Yeah, yeah. I've lived in Chandler the whole time I've lived here.
I love
So
Chandler.
so it is nice. I mean, I'm
I'm always in
I'm
Chandler.
15, 18 minutes from the school.
Yeah, and
It's
that's not
it's very
bad.
easy.
That's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, let's see what else do we have. Any advice on long distance moving companies or how to find a trustworthy one? Good question.
So we were living in a house in Indiana, so we used a pod. So like those
Mm,
big white kind of trailer things that say
yep.
pod on the side in red. Because we had to pack up our whole house in that. And so they just came and picked that up. And
Okay.
so it was a couple $1,000s. I want to say maybe 3,000. Um,
Yep.
I can double check if you want me to email you or I can get this information back to them. But we use a pod to transfer all of our
Okay.
stuff. And it was just easy because we just didn't want to do it ourselves, and then I put my car on a semi. So I realized that might be pricey for a lot of people. If you can drive, you can drive. My husband drove with our dog. He drove from Indiana
Ah,
with our dog.
nice. Nice.
So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
doable. And then you can send your stuff via a pod if you want to, try to save money as far as shipping your car. But I wasn't going to make that drive. So we
Yeah. Yeah.
sacrificed, for
Right.
me. But, yeah, definitely. If you have a lot of stuff, if you're coming from a home or you're coming with a family, just load up the pod and then, you all can drive.
Yeah, those are pretty popular nowadays. So,
She's very
yeah.
easy, very convenient.
Yeah, yeah. I know we used the big Penske truck and drove out
Yes,
here ourselves with two cats and a dog.
you can do that too. There's some people that have done that. For people that graduated
Right,
last year, I know moving back, you know,
right,
east with their
right,
moving truck. So,
right, right. Any areas to avoid, in your opinion?
um, I mean, I think every city has its, areas that maybe aren't as nice as others. I think Tempe, it's, we're right by ASU, so we have the younger crowd. I guess it
Right.
just depends on the kind of crowd you want to be around. Like my husband and I, we've been there, we've done that. So we didn't want to be around, the bars, and we're naturally
Yeah.
you're going to have more crime, and the shopping areas are going to have more crime, and, just more kind of a
Right.
mishmash of people. So if you want
Right.
something quiet, I would probably go out to the outskirts of Tempe and maybe try to get into Phoenix. So I guess it just depends
Okay.
on what kind of scene you want to be in, I guess.
Right. And that makes sense. That makes sense. And I've always told a lot of our students would prefer a roommate, and that's
Mhm.
great. But I always recommend get a roommate that's doing the same thing you're doing. Don't get a
Absolutely.
roommate that's from ASU. Nothing wrong with those students, but get somebody who's got the same focus as you do.
You have to
So
have someone around you that, understands the course load and is respectful of your time, and, the
correct.
quietness that you might need. So if you can move out here by yourself, that's great, because then you're going to get a chance to meet your whole cohort, and you could maybe
Mhm.
connect with somebody in your cohort and then think about moving in, later on down the line together. Because it's always great to have
Right.
somebody. You need someone in the program. You need a group of people. So I would
Exactly.
maybe wait till you get
Exactly.
here to find your group.
Exactly.
I would like to share just a little bit as I think
Yeah.
about that question, as far as, I don't want to say any areas to avoid, but as far as like where in the valley, I kind of want to share my screen. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I want to share the map of Phoenix and kind of give you an idea of where we're actually located. So, if I just go to maps.com and I Google Phoenix, this is essentially the whole valley itself that we refer to.
Mhm.
The school itself is over here in Tempe. The Highway 101 and the 60, like the school is located right here in Tempe. So Jody talks about, Jody loves Chandler, Mesa,
Mhm.
Gilbert,
Yep.
all of these areas over here are very, I would say, family oriented, right? They're
Mhm.
communities of mostly single family homes, apartments, townhomes, lots of churches, lots of schools. This is very family focused and an easy commute to get to the school that's right here on the far east side of Tempe. So just to give you an idea, the only thing that I would not recommend is looking for a place to live on the west side of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Driving
Mhm.
from Goodyear, Tullison through Phoenix to get to
Mhm.
Tempe, that's going to be tough. As she talks about
It's too
getting to
far.
class on time, the traffic just to get through this city would be it's not like New York traffic. It's not like Washington D.C. traffic, but again, just going back to that time management, and it would, Amy mentioned her commute from, let me show you, Maricopa is a little bit south of us
Yeah.
here. So
Keep
she's
going
coming from down here in Maricopa. She's coming
all
up,
the way down there.
but she doesn't have much traffic to fight against.
Right.
Everybody's coming up and
Right.
the flow is rolling right up in here to Tempe. If you're over
Right.
Right.
here, you are truly fighting a lot of traffic that's trying to get to Tempe, and you just got to get through Phoenix. So one of the key factors for you to keep in mind is when you look at the city map, anything on this east side of Phoenix would be ideal. Scottsdale,
Mhm.
Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, even as you go south, I think in general, it'll be less expensive and less of a commute. So that's the only thing that I wanted to
Mhm.
share regarding where you want to look for your housing. If you don't want to be right next to the campus, just kind of still, I would recommend you stay out to the east. Keep that in mind.
Even if you could come out here for a weekend, if you don't, for some reason, can't swing, coming out here early, come out here for a weekend, with yourself or someone or significant other, and just kind of look around, drive around and see what's out here. That it would probably be very helpful as well.
Good
It's hard
point.
to look
Good point.
online and talk to people on the phone. You want to really
Right.
see the area, drive around, so.
Yeah, perfect advice for sure. The next question we got is there plenty of campus is there plenty of on-campus parking?
Yes, there is. There is. So we have like the main parking level, and then there's also a garage right next door, which we like patient and faculty parking, so we can park in there as well as like overflow parking. So yeah, I would say yes. I'd say yes.
Yeah, I think we have plenty of parking. I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yep. It's definitely filling up good. And the great thing is our parking is covered with a whole bunch of solar panels.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
probably 85% of the parking is actually covered. So you're in the garage, and even the top floor of the garage has solar panels on it. Just a few spots that are near the actual medical center that are maybe have a little bit of tree shade. But that's what's awesome is we do have covered parking too. Mhm.
Yeah, which is perfect.
You're gonna sign it on your computer? Oh, okay. I think the other students are here.
Oh, good.
Are they? That's what I've been
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, we're looking on the guest list. What do we have, Jody? Let's go back up. Let's see.
All right, let's see who we got here. I am waiting on Juliana.
Let me see.
Juliana, you here? Emily and Erin. Any of you ladies here?
Amelia's here. She's just signing in.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I got two screens going, so I'm trying to keep track of who's coming in, and yeah. And then I just emailed them, so they should.
Are there
What happens is they
any?
get stuck on shift.
Let's see. Let's go to our questions while we're waiting.
Yep.
Make sure everybody announces themselves, and we'll do an intro when they get in here. So that's fine. Hi, everybody. Hi, Marty. Good to see you again. Would you talk about accommodation, please? I was a little bit late. I'm not sure what you're asking for, my friend. Marty, can you be a little more specific? And Miriam says, I know you spoke to it a little, but are there any neighborhoods or zip codes that are concerning safety wise?
I mean, I live pretty far south. So where I live, no. I mean, again, I would say maybe just don't look around, ASU, because we're really close to ASU. So, and there's some housing over there and whatnot. So if you are, I would say maybe if you want something quieter, go farther out from ASU, but if you want to stay in Tempe, then maybe just go out a little bit farther from ASU, and then look for places that have like the security. So like secured garages, like secured parking, or somebody that's like, you know what I mean? Like something that's a little more secure, but I can't say there are zip codes to avoid per se.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but Tempe's nice. There's
Hi,
a lot of
Juliana.
great places to live, safe places.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
There
For
is,
sure.
I think there's pockets, being in a big city like Phoenix, I think there's pockets everywhere. Chandler is a very nice area, but we still have certain pockets that, and you can kind of tell by the housing and, and how everything's kept up. But we're pretty fortunate that I can't think of a zip code that I would avoid, but
Yeah, there's not a whole zip code I would say don't
Yeah.
move to. So
Right,
that's why I
right,
suggest come out here for a weekend so you can actually drive around the neighborhoods and see
Right.
what's around there, because that's going to
Yeah.
be your best bet.
right. All right. So it looks like we have Juliana and Erin here. Yay. So Jane, you want to introduce both of them and we'll ask them some
Definitely.
questions.
Welcome, ladies. I don't see faces because I just see Jody, but let me do an introductory. So we have Erin Kemp is joining us. She calls Springfield, Missouri. Springfield, Missouri is home for Erin. She got her undergraduate from Missouri State University. She majored in exercise movement and science pre-med. She also has a minor in chemistry. Once again, you guys are amazing. Love it.
Amazing.
She started at Sonoran University in March of 2021. So just before the cohort, right before Amy did. And let's see, her hobbies consist of, what do you guys think? hiking, baking, ooh, playing tennis, and she's got a puppy. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you for joining us,
Nice.
Erin. Anything else you would like to say about your say hello? Say hello, please.
No, that basically kind of covers it. I'm pretty simple.
Well, thank you for
What kind
joining
of puppy do you have?
us.
I have a golden doodle.
Oh God, I love them. I love them. Sweet.
Perfect.
Those dogs
All
that
right.
don't shed.
Oh, and they seem to be
Yeah.
pretty smart dogs too. And we
Yeah,
also
yeah.
have our student ambassador executive, amazing Juliana Meza is joining us today, originally from Toronto, Canada. So talk about a move across the two countries, essentially, right? She got her undergraduate degree from Toronto and she majored in global health with a double major in immunology and physiology. Wow. She started Sonoran in April of 2022. Her hobbies consist of working out, creating healthy recipes, and of course, spending some time outdoors, probably hiking. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us today, Juliana. Anything else you'd like to say, add?
Thanks for having me. No, you summed it up very well, Jane. Thank you for the kind introduction. Sorry we were late, everyone. We had class right until 12:25, but we rushed right over. Thanks again
That's
for the
okay.
introduction.
Of
Yeah.
That's
course.
okay. And we have Emily Russick with us now too. So yay. Yeah.
I
Yes,
didn't
it's
see that.
Amelia.
Amelia!
Amelia,
Oh, it's
I'm
good to
sorry,
see you. I saw you
Amelia.
last week on campus.
Close,
Thanks
close.
for joining us. All right, well, I don't have any bullet points, so remind me where you're from.
I was born in Israel and I moved to the US when I was 16. It was more of just a mini vacation, and then my mom and I just ended up staying. It was quite the adventure. And I lived in California for almost 14 years. Then I applied here and then I moved here, which is the best decision I've made.
Yay!
Awesome,
Oh, it's so
awesome.
great to have you here. All right, so you moved to Arizona from California. What was your undergrad major in?
Biology.
Of course. And when did you start at Sonoran?
I started October 2021.
Wow, same time as Amy. And what are your favorite hobbies that you like to do outside of school?
I love cooking, gardening. I hike a lot, and I also have a doodle, so we go on long walks, and he's very active, so he makes me get out of my apartment at 6 a.m. in the morning. So
Very
that's a good thing.
nice.
I love dancing. I love salsa, Latin music. So if you ever want to dance with me, let me know.
Awesome. Very
Oh,
nice.
Um,
Very nice.
Yeah, and also I read on my spare time since I don't have a TV.
so you do that a lot on your spare time, is that what you said?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. How fun. Well, since we've got you on the spotlight, let's keep going a little bit deeper. Tell us how you originally became interested in naturopathic medicine.
Yeah, so I think I always had that passion since I was really young because my grandma and my mom are really rooted in that. So like I visited Europe a couple of times when I was younger, and we got to like go to the forest and harvest a lot. So I got exposed to that. And since I had that language barrier, I was afraid a couple of times to like apply. I was like, what if I don't get in? I was like scared, but I let those limiting barriers just like leave me.
Nice.
It was my experience in a hospital before. I felt like the setup was not really what I wanted, like working in allopathic medicine. I just didn't connect with it so much. So I wanted to have a little bit of both worlds to see what I connect with more. And of course, it's naturopathic. I do believe that Western medicine has its good sides, but I lean more towards naturopathic in my daily life. And I always encourage my friends to lean towards it, even if they don't want to do it as like a profession, to just have that lifestyle every day and apply it in a way that they feel comfortable with.
Awesome. What a good influence you are for your friends and family. Like, yeah, it doesn't
Very
have to be your
good.
career, but take care of yourself. Good, good, Amelia.
Yeah, and I had a severe Hashimoto's before, and I think the fact that I stopped saying I have it to made my symptoms kind of like get better. So that's why I love how we learn about psychology and the connection between the mind and the body. So I always encourage people to dig deep in that and understand that you're a disease and you can make it better. You're not your mind.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Wow. What a wonderful intro. Thank you for sharing. I love that. You are not your mind. You can make it better. All right. Let's circle back. Miss Erin, are you available to tell us a little bit about how you became first interested in naturopathic medicine?
Yeah. So I was actually a sick kid in and out of the hospital a lot. I had beginning stage liver failure, and they just were doing a lot of experimental things, didn't really do anything to like, just basically it was to manage it. So I knew that if I stayed on that track, I was going to eventually get a liver transplant, or hope that I made it in time. And so we found this other doctor who happened to do enzyme therapy and more of an natural and different approach to medicine. And we were like, we got nothing to lose, so let's go for it. And yeah, I've been fine ever since. It took a few years, obviously, being in that or like stage. It takes a long time, but it took me about 2.5, 3 years. And ever since then, I've just been in recovery. I've been fine. I don't have to worry about it, which is crazy. But ever since then, I was like, okay, there is something else that I can do that actually solves a problem, can help bring hope. And I think that's something I need to be interested in. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Very
What an
nice.
interesting story for sure. And so now you have your own liver, it's still strong and healthy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. No surgery necessary. Ah, thank you for sharing. Very good. Did you apply to all of the schools or only Sonoran?
I was looking at Bastyr, but I felt like this was just going to offer me more options. So,
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Juliana.
Hello. So what brought me to naturopathic medicine was the very cliche story where I always said since I was very young that I wanted to be a doctor. However, I always thought that was through Western or allopathic medicine. And it wasn't until my undergraduate degree where I started experiencing a lot of anxiety. And that was a new sort of feeling and experience for me. So naturally, I sought out care with my allopathic doctor. And I'll never forget being in her treatment room for about 5 minutes. A quick conversation, 5 minutes about my symptoms, which I remember shocked me because I was feeling so much, but she sort of summarized it in such a short amount of time and then put me on a prescription medication. But I trusted her and tried to see it through. So I was on that for a few months and felt no change. So I went back to her. She prescribed me a different one. Again, no change. And then we went to a third one, and I actually was feeling worse than I was feeling better. And so with that, I did a lot more research about other options that I could potentially pursue. And I found a naturopathic doctor that was close to home. And so I decided to pursue that line of care. And to summarize a long story, she completely changed my life. And I knew that naturopathic medicine had become my newfound passion. So after I graduated, I decided to work at an integrative care clinic for a couple of years that focused on naturopathic doctors, just to really immerse myself in the field and solidify that it's what I wanted to pursue. And it just motivated me even more. And here I am at Sonoran.
She is. And we are so lucky. She is a rock star student ambassador. We love when she gets to join us for events. That's
Yes, she
awesome.
is.
You know, it's so common, right? It's our personal health story. It's someone that we love.
Right.
Like these experiences,
Right.
it's tough that we have to go through this to come to this realization of there is a better way. There's something else we can do out there.
Yeah.
So thank you all for what you're
Absolutely.
doing and realizing that you have the wisdom, right? You're scientists,
Yeah.
you guys are brilliant and you can make a difference. So truly just thank you for doing this, being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's go back up. I'm thinking, well, Juliana's had the furthest move out of our options right now. She came over aside from Israel, of course, but Amelia, you came technically from California. So let's go up and learn a little bit about, Juliana, your experience coming from another country initially, right? Like, and maybe we'll just go through some bullet points. Like, at what point did you even start looking for housing? Was it before you'd been offered admission? Had you been down here to look, or were you offered admission and then said, okay, I gotta relocate?
Great question. So I really based my decision off of the school, not necessarily that it was, yes, because it was located in Arizona and we have one of the largest scopes of practice, which is one of the many reasons I decided to come to the school, but it was really based on the school as opposed to the state for me. With that being said, while I was in the process of applying, I was already starting to look at different areas that were close to the school, Tempe, Mesa, things like that, just through my own research. I was looking at all sorts of apartments. Once I found out that I was accepted, I did commit one weekend to coming down to Arizona. I booked, sounds a little crazy, but I booked like 16 apartment tours. Just because I'd never been here before. I wanted to experience different areas. I had spoken to lovely Jane and Jody, had connected me with some other students that moved here. So I spoke with a couple students to get their perspective on where they lived in certain areas and apartments and what that experience was like for them. So I did lots of research. I came down and toured apartments myself. For me, I wanted something that sort of felt like home because I'm very close with my family. So the biggest challenge for me was, or is, being so far away from them. So I sort of based my decision on what felt more like home to me. You also have to factor in the commute. If you're not going to have a vehicle with you, I would highly recommend living walking distance from the school if you can, just because you will be here about every day and there's going to be some long days. If you have a vehicle, depending on your budget and what you factor in for gas, you could technically live anywhere if you're willing to drive the commute. Again, I do recommend being close to the school just because you spend a lot of your time here. But that was a bit about my process.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome.
I love that. Again, kind of similar to Amy's story. She definitely had been looking very early in the process. So that's excellent advice. So let's go back to Miss Erin. What about you? Same question.
Okay, wait, the question and basically like, well, how did I learn or come here?
Right. Like, at what point did you start looking for housing? Was it before you had
Mhm.
even applied? Were you
Yeah.
admitted? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go find a place to live. Like, tell us a little bit about your thought process
More
in
of
that
that.
relocation. Okay.
Yeah, so I interviewed and I found out right before Thanksgiving that I got accepted, and I was like, all right, cool. So I actually know I'm doing something with my life. Now what do I do? So I was immediately like, I have to start doing, like, I still had a job. So I had 2 jobs at the time. So I had to like put in my notice for that, figure out my lease was ending at where I was in Missouri. And then I had to find something out here. And just like the time frame, I was like, I knew I wanted to be out here for at least a month because I was moving completely by myself. I wanted to learn the area. I wanted to figure out, I was worried about safety. I know I heard y'all talk about that a little bit. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out where can I grocery shop during, if I need to go like late night, am I safe to go here? Am I not? I'm from a smaller town, smaller city. Everyone was like, mafia, watch out. And I was like, that was not a needed worry. I was okay. I am okay, thankfully. So I knew I wanted to have that time. So I did not actually come out here before I got my apartment. I just kind of was like, this is a good apartment. It fits this. And I signed the lease. And then I came out in January and I was like, oh, okay, so this is where I'm at. It didn't end up being
Okay.
a bad place by
Wow.
any means. I really liked it. It
Okay.
was a great place to start. I'm in a new place now. Both have been great. Both had their perks. So I think you
Okay.
can still make the most, even if you do like a blind lease.
Right.
Was that first
And
lease
see,
a
and that's
full
what,
year? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No. That's what I seem to recommend, where Amy, she knew she wanted to be away from the school a little bit, and that's fine. But those students who don't, I always encourage them to stay close to the school. You sign a year's lease. After a year, you can move. You now know the area. So
Yeah.
now if you so it's kind of like a stab in the dark when you're like, oh yeah, I like this apartment sight unseen, and then it's kind of scary coming out here and being like, well, I have no clue where I'm going to live, but I put a down payment for this apartment. So yeah, so a lot of students do that. So yeah, very good, Erin. Awesome. So you've moved since that apartment that you originally lived in?
Yes, so I was in an apartment.
Okay.
Now I rent a house. Both away
Okay.
from campus, about 20 minutes. I
Okay.
don't have an issue with the commute. Usually it's okay. I avoid 101 and 60 like the plague. I don't want to deal with it. Helps my anxiety, especially before a test.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Do you
I
have
can
any
imagine.
roommates? Any classmates or roommates?
I lived alone at first, and now I currently live with my boyfriend, which I met through the program. So any girls who are single, there's hope.
Cute.
You're
There's
so
a lot
funny.
of love in this community. That is for sure. We've had a lot of marriages
Awesome.
happen, right? That's
Yeah,
fun. Thank you for
absolutely,
sharing.
absolutely. And we
Okay, one
have,
more.
as
Yeah,
soon as Amelia gives us her spiel of how soon she came out, it looks like Charlique has joined us now.
oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
All right, Miss Amelia, tell us a little bit about your relocation from California.
Yeah, so for me, I was scared at first because I never moved so far away from my mom because, of course, I moved to the States with my mom and we have a really strong bond and I'm an only child. I moved first to Cal Poly Pomona, like in that area for my undergrad. It's about an hour and a half away from LA, so it wasn't too bad. So my mom came every other weekend with groceries, but now she can't just
Aw.
come with groceries at my door. So I have to do everything alone, but honestly, it taught me so much about myself that I can do it.
Yep.
I think it is like Erin said, it's about a mindset. When I moved here, I didn't have my dog yet, so it was just me. So the first year allowed me to just adjust to the school and like get to know people, and I also try to find my way around, like do fun things outside of school, like dancing and poetry nights and things like that, and also hiking because there's so much here. Um, yeah, I think the fact that I had my own place also, it was fun for me to like decorate it because I love plants and I have a little jungle in my place. Cooking was like something I started to enjoy even more, even though I was a health coach before and I did meal preps for people, but doing it for myself, it became more enjoyable because I'm in a 4-year program, so there is not enough time to eat during the day. But then you make the time. So again, it's like mindset. I think it always goes back to mindset. And something that saved me, and I have to say to the incoming students, is to not have a victim mind. That's what's saving me. I think we live in the times where everything seems so difficult and we are quick to say, why is this happening to me? Poor me. I think what keeps me grounded is knowing that there's always someone out there that is suffering more than me. Not that it should be that way, but it is that way, sadly. So what keeps me going is also the sense of community, like I typed here in the chat. Once you move here, you're scared at first, but then you get to know people. So I think that's what also brings you peace of mind. To also be open and not close yourself to meeting people. And I think it's important in this program to have that team kind of like mentality of like, I'm not gonna exclude myself to myself and
Right.
put yourself out there to meet people. I think that makes a difference too, because then you get together outside of school.
Yeah.
So,
Very
yeah.
good. Very good.
Way to just
Great
take on that
advice.
whole new environment on your own. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yep.
All right, we have one more student hiding in here somewhere. Charlie, are you
Charlie.
there?
Hi. Was there a specific question that you wanted me to touch on?
Well, now we're going to introduce you real fast. Thank you for joining us. So everybody, this is Charlie. She is from Philadelphia, PA. So coming in from the East Coast. Here we go, everybody. She got her undergraduate from Oakwood University with a major in Spanish. That's perfect for Arizona. Heck yeah. She started at Sonoran University in fall 2022, and her hobbies consist of hiking, cooking vegan meals, and trying out vegan restaurants, which we have a lot of fun of those here in the Valley. Anything else you'd like to introduce yourself and say hello?
Um, Hi.
Dr. Marchese! Oh, that was crazy.
Oh, that's yay. So
Sorry,
Charlie,
sorry,
how did
Shirley.
you get in? How did you get interested in naturopathic medicine?
I think the short story is probably just my upbringing. So I know I
Okay.
mentioned that I'm from Philadelphia, but I was raised in Jamaica. So there
Okay.
is a big just emphasis on using plants for healing and lots of teas. So that was always around me. And then I'm also Seventh-day Adventist, so I'm Christian. And in that denomination, we kind of focus a lot on physical health as well as spiritual health. So that was always really cool to me. And I guess those two things kind of merged, and I found a special interest in it more than, say, other people who are Jamaican or are Christians in that sense. And then I just really liked the idea of learning about the body, but also learning how to treat ailments in the body with natural means and without causing as many side effects, and having like lasting change in somebody's life versus having to introduce this like medicine for the rest of their lives or things like that. So
Very good. Very, very good. Awesome. So Charlique, we've been asking these ladies about their move. So
yeah.
coming from Philadelphia, kind of give the audience an idea of how soon did you move here before you started your program? Did you start looking for housing right away? And how did you decide on where to live?
Yeah. So for all those who are planning on coming here, if you're like nervous about housing, I was too. I was very stressed when I was thinking about, I don't know where I'm gonna live. I don't know anybody in this area, clueless. I think I started looking probably, I think we got our acceptance in about June maybe. So I started looking around that time, was not successful. I think I finally found a place maybe a month before, about then, and final, maybe final, like things started falling in place maybe a week or so before I moved. So sometimes it seemed like getting closer to the date, I was getting very nervous, but things worked out. So I'm happy about that.
Very good. Very
And I
good.
got here 2 weeks before orientation started. So that
Okay.
seemed a little bit, I think in comparison to other people I spoke to, I got here late-ish. But it was enough time for me to get settled. It was first time living on my own in like an apartment and stuff. So I spent a lot of that time putting furniture together that I ordered online.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
so yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. We have tons of questions in those chats. So
Lots
let's,
of
you want
comments
to
here.
start getting started on those?
Yep. So we've got one that's around health insurance for students. Anybody? Charlique, you're the first without a mic on. What do you guys do for health insurance and healthcare as far as the student body goes? What do you guys have access to?
Okay, I don't know if anyone, I'm currently looking for a new one. So right now what I pay is horrible. So I'm actually digging up information. I know a lot of people that I've talked to, about 6 of the students use Access, which is Arizona's kind of like what I think is the government one. So you just fill out, and with that, you can also get some food stamps. So someone I saw asking about budgeting, and different, like if you're living off of financial aid, it gives you enough to where, you know, if some weeks, like during finals week, I tend to eat out a little bit more just because I'd rather eat than not eat and have something. So I know that I save a little bit more, and having that food stamps that you use for groceries can kind of help me with that. I know a lot of students also really enjoy that. So between Access and those 2 stamps, it kind of gives you something with that. At the med clinic and everything, you can get 2 free appointments as long as they're with the students. They're really good at giving you a lot of information as well. I had so many questions. They give you brochures and pamphlets. So if none of the direct students have any answers for you, either place will have a lot of options that you can ask and get hooked up.
Very good.
Perfect. Access is perfect.
Very good.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Juliana, Amelia, Charlique, anything else that you offer, you want to share about health insurance?
There is a class that is starting, so I have to. I'm gonna run out.
It's 12:55. We have 5 minutes left. Go ahead, Juliana.
They're kicking us out.
As a student at Sonoran, I also agree with Erin that you do have your 2 free visits here at the school clinic, so don't forget about that. And then your subsequent visits are discounted, which is really wonderful. In terms of more affordable healthcare, there's certain things, we have something called DSDL at the campus, and that's a free hour each week of adjustments, for example, and acupuncture. So it's held by upperclassmen who are performing the adjustments or acupuncture, but they are monitored by their professors. And it gives them a chance to practice, but it gives you free adjustments and acupuncture. You also have access to something called the virtual care group as a student at Sonoran University. And it is what the title says, it's virtual care. So if you're having some sort of mental emergency or you need a quick answer, you can utilize that portal, and you'll get all the details about that when you become a student. But there is also that care provided by the school.
Excellent.
Nice.
I
Very
forgot
nice.
about that, the virtual care group. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
If any of you are using financial aid for living expenses, how did you budget, and how far in advance are you able to set aside the funds for your housing? Any takers on that one?
I finally in the quiet. I use the financial aid for like groceries and things like that, and mostly food in my apartment also. I do have savings just because I was a health coach before, but I think if someone doesn't have a lot of savings, my suggestion is, I learned that from my parents, to have a notebook and write down how much you use for gas, how much you use for food. And my mom sometimes says you buy more than you need. So like, be more mindful, because my eyes are bigger than my stomach sometimes. I'm like, oh, I want this, I want that, especially if I go to the farmer's market. But now I'm like mindful, and I notice that I only buy things that I'm actually going to use. And also, you don't throw anything away. So maybe keeping a notebook and being mindful about how much you spend for everything.
Right.
Then you get to save more on a side for extra stuff that you need for the future.
Right. And I know Anna Borjas, who is our director of financial aid, she is an absolute best resource in helping you budget and laying everything out. And she'll be the first to say, you spend a lot in coffee every morning. Can you take that away? So yeah, she's a great resource to use as well.
To make you think twice about where you're spending those dimes.
Right.
Yeah.
She will.
Do any of you work federal work study or work part-time on or off campus? Do any of you guys, ladies, work?
I do. I work a job technically for a company back in Canada. It's a virtual job. I've had that job since before starting the program, and I'm also continuing it while I'm in the program. I also work as a student ambassador at the school. So those are 2 sort of part-time jobs that I do while in the program. I will say, when I first started out, I still had the job that I do back for the Canadian company, but in terms of extracurriculars and other jobs that I decided to take on, I sort of waited on that in my first couple of quarters just to see how I was going to adapt to the rigor of the program and studying. Like, I changed a few of my studying techniques, which they will go over with you in orientation. So I wanted to get settled and see what I could handle and still be healthy. So I took the first couple of quarters to adjust, and then I started taking more on at the school, but I have always held up one part-time job. So it is doable. It's just a lot of time management, I would say. And just make sure you're giving yourself grace, especially in the beginning when you're getting used to all your courses and a new schedule and an adjustment. It's okay to have ups and downs. So just making sure that you're giving yourself a lot of grace, but it is possible as long as you're managing your time, I would say.
Good advice. Very good advice.
Very good.
You guys,
And
that
don't forget to
hour
eat.
went so quick.
I know. You ladies are incredible. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for all these questions, and thank you for responding to the questions in the chat. You guys
I
just
know.
kept right
Thank
up
you
with
guys.
them.
Thank you so much.
So everybody take a minute to scroll through all the chat. Hopefully there's some questions in there. If we weren't able to address them all, yes, the hour went super fast. Please
Yeah, it
email Jody and I additional questions, whatever comes to mind. I'm sure these ladies will be more than happy to quickly respond and share some insights and information.
Yeah.
Any other, I had something, I lost
Yeah.
it. Go ahead, Jody.
No, that's it. I know, as far as the students on here, if, I know where I live, I know great areas in the valley, so use Jane and I as a resource as well. We're not going to put you in a non-safe area, I promise you, so reach out to us, and we'll be happy to do a Zoom with you to talk to you about areas in the valley that we would recommend.
Perfect.
There's actually a couple houses right down the street from me for rent, so just FYI. So,
Juliana,
so use us
Amelia,
too.
Aaron, Charlie,
you.
thank you all, and Miss Amy too. Yes,
Amy.
thank you all so much for your
Thank you
hour today,
all.
your time, your
Yes.
insights, and all that you're doing here in our community. Everybody, excellent questions. Thank you so much for joining us as usual. We love your participation.
Yes.
Like I said, if we didn't get to cover it, you have other questions that come to mind, please email us right away. Jody and I are happy to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have a wonderful rest
right.
of your Tuesday.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I think my computer is shutting down. I don't know what's happening.
Did you stop recording?
I haven't.